On the first level, there's a strategic business plan. Let's jump into some details. The strategic business plan itself depends on another plan which was not shown in this hierarchy, the strategic plan. Why was the strategic plan not shown? It is much more than only the production related issues. The strategic plan affects the whole company in all directions. The strategic plan should show or make statements about the major product lines of the company, the major markets, and the expected growth. All the main departments of a company, all the senior manager usually develop and contribute to developing the strategic plan. So if we have a strategic plan for geotech, then maybe the product lines could be the general types of programs that should be offered. Should we go more into social science? Should we go more into engineering? Should we in general teach more technical subjects? Should we offer a vocational training, or should we focus on research-based education? Do we want to go more in a practical direction? These are things that affect the product lines. Maybe you want to stay the individual programs that geotech offers, like the bachelor in logistics on this level, but maybe you do not even go into that level of detail. Markets, what students do we want to attract? Do we mainly want to attract Omani students, or do we want to attract GCC students, including Oman of course, or do we want to attract more international students beyond the GCC? Are we going for undergraduate programs mainly, or graduate programs? Are we focusing maybe on a mix of Omani and expat students, and so on and so on. Growth is what do we expect to grow the business in the future. If we are a port, it depends a little bit on our business model, but let's look at a port like Port Sohar, where the port operator is mainly a landlord renting out different facilities and different areas to other operators like terminal operators. Then the port could have a strategy of what type of facilities should be offered in the future, what type of terminals should be offered in the port, what type of industry do we want to have at this port. The markets again, do we try to get Omani startups? Do we try to get only big international companies? Do we go for Middle Eastern companies, medium-sized companies? Or do we go for a certain mix of these companies to spread our risk? And the growth again is how quickly do we want to achieve these things. We always have to do some risk management, and we have to keep in mind that risks are always two-faced, so we always have some negative risks in situations, but we also have some positive risks. Just look at the COVID situation. Of course, on the first look, this looks like all bad and disaster and high negative impact. But on the other hand, there are also positive things. Some changes can be easily established. Some of the online teaching that we are doing will be valuable for future things, others maybe not, but there are always positive sides. Maybe you have now more time to reflect on your own life and work, so risks means always positive and negative things together. Now, from the strategic plan to the strategic business plan. The strategic business plan now, which is level 1 in our hierarchy, tries to add numbers, financial numbers, to the strategic plan. So we have the financial consequences of our strategic plan and call this then the strategic business plan. And typically each department has its own business plan that contributes to the strategic objectives. And the level of detail is quite low, so we have a really high level view. For example, we just address the general market. We do not address specific customers or customers' needs. We only discuss the major product groups. So if we report, for example, product groups could be the types of terminals we offer. So maybe we say we want to offer container terminals and dry bulk goods, but we do not want to offer a general cargo terminal. So we are very generic. We do not have a sales data of individual items. We only look at aggregate. So for example, how much money do we want to make out of the container terminal next year or in the future. We do not discuss individual container transshipments, but we just discuss the rough amount of money that we want to make. And this strategic business plan is usually reviewed and adjusted every year, once a year or 2 times a year. Adjusting means we look, are we still on track? It does not mean that we always make a completely new plan. Just try to understand what progress did we make. Are we on time? Are we quicker or are we slower? Has something changed in the environment, in the regulations, new laws, something like COVID, and do we need to adjust our plan? That is the job of the planning review.